Okay, so what you have here is a zoomed in picture of what's called our unit circle that we've been talking about. If you want, you can take your notes with a blank unit circle. So if you want to print one, you can. It'll just help kind of as you're filling everything in. So what we did yesterday and the day before was we filled out all of these coordinates. Okay, what we're gonna do today is figure out those angles as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first just fill in these coordinates so we have them. Okay, here are the first four. Those are the ones that came from when we put our first 30, 60, 90 triangle in. Here are our next four. We got those 4 points from when we did the 45, 45, 90 triangle. Here are your next four that came from when we took that 30, 60, 90 triangle and rotated it. So the 60-degree angle was towards the center of the circle. And here are your last four, okay, the quadrantal angles. So this is what we did the last 2 days just by taking triangles and reflecting them over our X and Y axes, okay? Now, this is not the only important part about our unit circle. The other important part is knowing these angle measurements in degrees and radians. So that's what we're gonna do today. And we're gonna talk about reference angles as well, okay? So I'm gonna move up here and get that out of the way. And we're gonna start by looking at our degrees, and then we'll look at our radians as well, okay? So let's just talk about a circle. And we know that one rotation around is 360 degrees, meaning half of a rotation is 180 degrees, right? So if you have an angle here and you rotate that ray about the end point, halfway around 180, full way around is 360. You don't rotate it at all, you're at 0. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this 180 degrees, that's half of a revolution, and we're going to divide it into 6 equal pieces. So if we take 180 and divide it by 6, that means that each little piece is 30 degrees in here, okay? That all of those little central angles measure 30 degrees. So what does that mean? That means if you were to take this ray that's on the x-axis and rotate it up, just one of those, this angle right here is 30 degrees. Now if we go 2 times, that's 60 degrees. You go through 3 of them, that's 90. So notice what's happening is to get to the next one, you're just adding another 30 degrees, which leaves us at 180, okay? Now, we also know that halfway around is equal to pi radians, okay? Well, let's see what each of these equal in terms of radians. Well, again, we take pi and we divide it by 6. That means each little piece is now, in terms of radians, pi 6. So remember how here we went through and said, oh, this little piece is, I want to let me erase that. Okay, for some reason, won't let me erase it. Now we can say, well, each little piece is pi 6 as we continue around, okay? So what does that look like, or what does that mean as we walk around this? Well, let's look. This here is going to equal pi 6 radians. 1/6 plus 1/6 is 2/6. 2/6 plus 1/6 is 3/6. 3/6 plus 1/6, 4/6, and so forth. 5/6 and 6/6. Obviously, we're not going to write this as 6, 6, because 6 divided by 6 is 1. If you look up at 4, 6, 4, 6 also reduces, and that's going to reduce to 4 divided by 6 reduces down to 2/3. 3, 6, 3 divided by 6 is 1/2. 2, 6, 2 divided by 6 is 1/3. Okay, so now we have the angle measurements and radian measurements for the top half. So to continue this, to get the ones in the bottom half, we are going to break up the bottom half into 6 equal pieces. Meaning each little angle measures 30 degrees still, right? So if you're at 180 and you add 30 degrees, you're at 210. You add another 30 degrees, you're at 240. You add another 30 degrees, you're at 270. Another one, you're at 300. Another one, you're at 330. And then another 30, that's where you get back at the 360. Now again, still we're in terms of pi 6. So remember what this was? This was technically 6 over 6, right? So if you have 6 over 6 and you add 1 6, 6 over 6 plus 1 6 is 7 6. So we get 7 pi 6. Plus another 6, you get 8 pi 6. Plus another 6, you get 9 pi 6. Plus another 6, you get 10 pi 6. Plus another 6, you get 11 pi 6. Plus another one, you get 12 pi 6. And as you can see, we can reduce a few of these, okay? 7 pi 6 is good. 8 pi 6, 8 divided by 6 is 4/3, okay? 9 pi 6, that reduces down to 3 pi halves, because 9 divided by 6 is 3 over 2. 10 pi 6 is 5 pi thirds. And 12 pi 6, 12 divided by 6 is 2 pi. Okay, so now what we have here is the degrees and radians for each of these angle measurements. Okay, so let's go back to our circle with all of our ordered pairs from yesterday, and we'll go ahead and put these on. Now, we can go around and count like we just did and reduce, which is fine. The other thing to remember is this is 30 degrees here. 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 So this is 30 degrees more than 180, or sorry, 30 degrees more than 0. This one over here is 30 degrees less than 180. This is 30 degrees more than 180. And this is 30 degrees less than 360. Okay. Now, if we look at, I'll put those in because we know those ones. If we look at the ones in purple, these are 60 degrees more than 0, 60 degrees less than 180, 60 degrees more than 180, 60 degrees less than 360. So 60 more than 0, 60 less than 180, 60 more than 180, 60 less than 360. Okay, so now we have those angle measurements. We want to think about that same thought process, but with radians. So this is pi 6 more than 0. This is pi 6 less than pi. This is pi 6 more than pi. This is pi 6 less than 2 pi. The ones in purple, this is pi thirds more than 0. This is pi thirds less than 1 pi. This is pi thirds more than 1 pi. This is pi thirds less than 360. Okay, and then in green, and then we did look at these, because these were the ones that reduced, remember, down to the pi halves and 3 pi halves. Okay, so in the next video, you are going to find the angle measurements for the ones in blue.